And hello YouTube, GSmaniamsmart here, and in today's video we're going to talk about some of the huge changes that are coming August 8th for the next balance patch regarding ascended weapons, ascended gear, and turning that into legendary territories and world versus world gliding, some changes to boon duration and condition duration regarding food and utilities, and a few other things. All of that's come up next. What's up guys, GSmaniamsmart here. Today we're on another brand new video for Gaming with GS, and thanks for stopping by for another video. Glad to have you aboard. And if you haven't been new to the channel, new to my videos, I encourage you to subscribe. Plenty of other Guild Wars 2 videos on the channel already. Plenty of other Guild Wars 2 videos to come in the future as well, regarding some of these news, regarding the patch notes, and regarding the next expansion as well. I currently am in the works of creating a video for each of the elite specializations where we'll go over some of their skills, go over some of their traits. A lot has been revealed about the elite specializations that are coming for Path of Fire, and I'm working on that, so prepare for those videos coming sometime in the near future. But if you're interested in that type of content, if you're interested in Guild Wars 2, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button as well as that post notification bell so you can stay up to date with all the most recent videos. So yes, hopefully you guys enjoyed the last two videos that I uploaded earlier in the week, my reaction video to Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a card on screen right now. I'll also have a link in the description. And if you missed the announcement to the new expansion coming September 22nd, 2017, Path of Fire, we have about a 30-minute video discussing everything that's going to be included in this expansion, the pricing, the new mounts, the elite specializations. We have some footage even. If you missed that huge announcement and the trailer of that, I have a whole video discussing everything that you might have missed. So if you missed that video, click the card on screen right now or click the link in the description. Now with all this expansion hype and expansion details being released, I am currently working on some elite specialization videos, but in the meantime I want to talk about a few things that got mentioned on the Guild Wars 2 forums, which some people seem to have overlooked but are huge changes coming next week, August 8th. These changes that we're going to talk about in this video will be coming next week in the next balance patch, and there are some major changes coming regarding ascended gear, being able to transform that into legendary gear. I mean, this is huge. And then also gliding being available in World vs. World. A lot to get through today. Hopefully some of these changes will be beneficial for the game rather than breaking the game completely. So let's start with the legendary gear piece. We got a post from Grant Gertz, which is the producer in World vs. World PvP and Fractals, and he says that when the August 8th update will be released, World vs. World and PvP players who own Heart of Thorns, this is important, you have to own Heart of Thorns, you'll be able to upgrade your World vs. World and PvP Ascended Armor to have legendary attributes. Now this is important also. It's not, you won't be able to upgrade your Ascended gear into the legendary gear with the legendary skins and all that stuff. That will not be the case. There is no new legendary skin for PvP. There's no new legendary skin for World vs. World. But one of the hugest criticisms that a lot of players had when legendary armor and legendary weapons came into the game recently was that there is still no legendary armor for World vs. World. There's still no legendary armor for PvP. And this is the fix that they're implementing into the game. If you happen to get one of these 4 Ascended armor sets, if you got the Triumphant Heroes Ascended armor, the Mistforged Triumphant Heroes Ascended armor, the Ardent Glorious Ascended Armor, or the Glorious Hero Ascended Armor, if you got any of those 4 armor sets in World vs. World or PvP, you'll be able to upgrade that set into a full legendary set. And this legendary set will allow you to do stat swapping, it'll allow you to do rune swapping, it'll have the purple name, so everything that the legendary armor can do mechanically, you'll be able to do on this transformed legendary armor too. All the cosmetic stuff will not be included though. You won't get a new skin, you won't get any transforming armor like the other legendary armor have, where you can transform your armor as you go into combat and out of combat. All that won't be included. But mechanically, stat-wise, swapping-wise, all that stuff will be included in this transformation. And this is huge because if you were around during Season 4, they put in Ascended Armor for PvP. And this Ascended Armor was fairly easy to get. I think one of my characters, the Guardian, has an almost full set of that ascended armor from PvP. And because it was fairly easy to get, those people now from Season 4 are going to be able to upgrade that gear to legendary armor. Which is the only sad part, because if you weren't playing in Season 4, and I think a lot of people were playing in Season 4 because the rewards were just so huge, a bunch of PvEers were playing in PvP. But it sucks because if you came after Season 4 into the game, you won't be able to get legendary gear because you probably won't have the full set there anymore. So aside from that small little unfortunate event there where if you didn't take advantage of those rewards at that time, you won't be able to get it. Aside from that small mishap there, I think this is a great change. I think this is a change that a lot of people have taken positively so far. I haven't seen anyone throw anything negative at this. This is a great way to introduce having legendary armor in PvP and in World vs. World, a way to get legendary armor through those game modes. Now, yes, there are going to be some critics where they say, okay, well, we still don't have a cool skin, we still don't have some cool transformation aesthetics like the other PvE armor has, and that's understandable, but, you know, at least we have some type of way to get legendary armor that we still get all the perks as the original legendary armor has. All those perks are still included, aside from the cosmetic and aesthetics things, and there's a way to get this now through PvP and through World vs. World. The only caveat here is that to upgrade a piece of World vs. World or PvP Ascended armor, you have to combine 3 new PvP or World vs. World gifts with 1 piece of Ascended gear in the Mystic Forge, and then you'll be able to upgrade that into an Ascended armor. You can purchase the ingredients for the gifts from either Commander, War Razor in World vs. World, or the Ascended Armor League vendor in PvP. So one thing that you might want to think about before you get super excited, you're thinking, oh yeah, free legendary gear, I can get free legendary gear because I already have the full Ascended set. We still don't know what you'll need to buy these gifts. We still don't know the recipes for these gifts. We still don't know what you'll actually need to upgrade this gear. Just because it's possible to upgrade your gear to legendary armor doesn't mean it's going to be something super and easy and quick to do. You might still need to have some type of currency. You might still need to complete some type of achievement. You might still need to get some really expensive items. So let's just wait and see how this plans out. I think this is a great change. I think it's perfect for the problem that we had, World vs. World players and PvP players not having a way to get legendary armor. But let's keep in mind that there may be a few more things that you might still have to get, which I think is fine, because if you think about it, those people who did get PvP gear in Season 4, this is going to be a lot easier than those who get it in World vs. World or those who get it in a later season in PvP. So be prepared for that. That's coming August 8th, and that's really exciting news. That's going to be a huge change added to the game. The next thing I want to talk about is Gail Gray, the ArenaNet communications manager, also made a post on the Guild Wars 2 forums talking about concentration and expertise. Now, if you don't know what concentration and expertise is, you probably don't play classes that take advantage of these stats. Concentration expertise is basically boon duration and condition duration. Now, the thing is that when Heart of Thorns was released, they added these 2 new stats for equipments, and they included concentration expertise as basically stat replacements for condition duration and boon duration. But the thing is that some consumables still go by boon duration and still go by condition duration. So we kind of have 2 systems. We have the expertise and concentration system on the equipment, and then we have the condition duration and boon duration on some of the consumables. So it did feel a bit redundant. What they're basically doing here is they're converting everything that had boon duration and condition duration, they're converting that to concentration or expertise. The only thing that's not included is runes and sigils. Those are not included in this change, and they'll remain in the same form that they've always been. And why that is, I couldn't really tell you why. I would have imagined if they're changing everything on consumables, why not change it in runes and sigils? If you might have an answer for that, let me know in the comments section below. Now, the only huge criticism that I see here is that because we're working in percentages here and they're basically converting to a point value, that this is going to lower the power of condition-based builds. And they're saying that it's to encourage support players to invest in more heavily in gear to acquire the boon duration they desire, but at the same time, it's also nerfing the condition damage builds by a huge amount. If you remember a while ago, they nerfed Seaweed Salad, and that took a huge hit to the power-based builds, and condition damage was basically the new super strong way to do raids. And now with this nerf to condition duration, a lot of people are saying that this is a huge nerf to condition damage builds, and you'll be doing a lot less damage now than you would have before this change that's coming August 8th. And ArenaNet even admits it. They say here that, first of all, this change is made because condition builds received a significant higher damage boost from using food than power builds did, which made it much harder to balance them across the game modes. This change will bring the impact of optimal Condi food in line with optimal power food. So clearly right here in this post, they do admit that this is going to nerf condition damage builds, so it lines up with power builds. Not only that, but even the equipment and the upgrades are being changed too. If you happen to have the Giver's weapons or the Giver's armor sets, those are the only gears that have a stat combo that provide condition duration and boon duration. But in this next upcoming patch, these will be converted to expertise and concentration as well. Now this does result in a small loss in stats for the weapons, but ArenaNet is saying that it will greatly increase the benefit of the armor once concentration is provided in level and rarity appropriate values. And if you happen to be using snowflakes or doubloons, those will also be changed over to use concentration as well, so look out for that change too. And on top of that, they're also changing utility consumables as well. Now on screen, you will see a chart that I got from this post that was made, and these are the changes that they'll be making to the utilities. Now personally, and honestly, I don't use utilities that much. The only utility that I use are the ones for power builds, and I only really use them in raids. I don't use them for fractals, even though it really is advised to use them. So I don't have too strong of an opinion here. I would love to hear though what you're thinking about some of these utility changes. What it looks like to me is some of these changes are going to be converting one stat type to another stat type, such as 6% healing power is going to be changed to condition damage, or 8% concentration will be converted to condition damage. So it looks like they are fiddling around with swapping one stat to the other stat. And that's something that's always been sort of in line with how these utilities work. One stat changes to another stat. But take a look at this chart here, and if you have any huge criticism, if you see anything dramatically wrong with this, you could always go to the forums here, and I'll definitely link this thread in the description, and I would highly encourage you to put your feedback there. ArenaNet is saying that they're listening to feedback here. They're not entirely sure themselves how they want to address this situation. They know they want to change utilities though, and they do say that this warrants for discussion. So if you want to add your 2 cents in, you can definitely add your 2 cents into the forums that I have linked below. Leave a comment as well, because I'd love to know your thoughts on these utility changes. The food changes and the weapon and armor changes I can pretty much relate to, because I use food all the time, and this is definitely a huge nerf to condition damage builds. But as far as utility goes, I don't fully have a full grasp on how those changes will impact the game. So let me know in the comments below if you have a better understanding of that. One thing that I do appreciate though, and one of the reasons why I don't buy utilities a lot, because utilities are expensive and crafting them are kind of painful too. But it looks like they're changing the way that recipes will function as well. It'll take a lot less to now craft these furious, toxic, or bountiful utility items. So it should be significantly less painful, and it should cost a lot less moving forward after this patch gets put into the game to craft these utility items. So I'm thankful for that. That's one of the big reasons I never wanted to craft utilities, because they are expensive, and you buy them straight from the trading post, they're still expensive. So I'm glad to see this, and we'll probably see a drop in price even on the trading post now with some of these utilities, since the cost in crafting is going to be reduced as well. And those are all the changes that we got concerning the concentration expertise stats. The next thing I want to talk about is World vs. World Territories and Gliding. And once again, a huge amount of discussion around this as well. I have an opinion here, I'll give you mine, but we got a post from one of the game designers working on World vs. World, saying that they're going to be introducing gliding into World vs. World. And this is something that a lot of people have been torn about. When gliding was first put into the game, we only really had it in PvE. Soon it got put into the PvP lobby where we could glide around. It never got put into, actual PvP fighting because that would be a huge disaster and people were thankful for that. But now they're actually putting it into the entirety of World vs. World. Gliding will be in the game. However, they are restricting it to something called territories. So basically what territories are is something that outlines an objective. So each objective in World vs. World will now have a territory associated with it. And the ownership of each of these objectives and each of these territories is displayed by a map outlines in the color of the owning team. So if you happen to be capturing a tower, that tower has an associated territory outline around on that map. And if you happen to be in one of these territories where you own that territory, you'll be able to glide. Now, one of the huge things that obviously comes with this is, well, if I don't have gliding, but I'm playing World vs. World, my team has this territory, will I be able to glide? Because I don't have the mastery for it. Well, if you don't have gliding, but you do have Heart of Thorns bought and purchased, you can still acquire gliding by using ability points in the new Heart of Thorns War Gliding Mastery. The War Gliding Mastery is available to those who own Heart of Thorns and allow gliding in territories that your team owns in the Mist War maps, which include the Eternal Battlegrounds, the Alpine, and the Desert Borderlands. And if you do enter a territory that you don't own while you're gliding, you'll be kicked off from your glider. So you do not have to have gliding unlocked from your PvE masteries. Instead, you can acquire gliding by using your ability points. Interestingly enough, they've also changed one of the ballista skills. The 4th ballista skill will now have an anti-air bolt skill that shoots people out of the air and immobilizes them for a short duration. So there's also going to be some counterplay. If you see people gliding, there will be some counterplay to that. You can use a ballista and basically shoot them out of the air. Simultaneously, right along with that though, on August 8, you will also be getting a new ability point reset vendor where you'll be able to basically reset all of your world ability points and you'll be able to restart from 0 points. So if you happen to be someone that might have put a bunch of points into something that you recently learned that's completely wrong to put it in, if you put all of your points in Flame Rams, even though it's heavily suggested you put all of your points in Supply Master first, then you could reset your ability points if you made a mistake like that. Or if you happen to be someone who already put a bunch of points in something else, but now you want to put all of your points in gliding first, you can very well do that. So everyone gets a free sample ability point reset per character so that everyone that has ability points can start gliding right away, because it's kind of pointless if you have already, 200 ability points spent and now you can't do gliding because it was put late into the game. So everyone gets a free ability point reset, and if you want to put all of your points in gliding from the start, you can do that. Now, my opinion on this is kind of torn. I like the idea that gliding is put into World vs. World. There are a lot of instances when I play World vs. World, I feel like, man, if I could glide here, that would be really helpful. That would be really cool. And there are a lot of situations where, you could create some crazy plays with gliding. Like, imagine gliding down from your keep to try and defend it, and the enemy team just sees you gliding from above. That would be really cool. So a lot of places, it'd be fun and cool to have gliding in the game. But a lot of people are saying that it sort of feels unfair, not only to those people who don't have Heart of Thorns, because remember, World vs. World is still going to consist of people who don't have Heart of Thorns and people who do have Heart of Thorns. And if you're fighting against someone that doesn't have Heart of Thorns and someone that does have Heart of Thorns, the question comes, will they be able to glide away just? And ArenaNet hasn't really mentioned anything about that. And that's one of the biggest criticisms that everyone is throwing at them, is that gliding cannot be allowed in combat, because if gliding is allowed in combat, then those who have Heart of Thorns are going to have a huge advantage over those who don't have Heart of Thorns. They can just glide away off of cliffs, which essentially is a bit faster than running. I've always felt like gliding was quicker than running was, but at the same time, then you could just glide off of a huge cliff, which you couldn't do if you didn't have gliding, avoid a fight completely, and you wouldn't die. So a lot of people are complaining that this is a terrible change, this is a terrible addition, because it encourages certain players to not fight, to not engage in combat, and one of the biggest criticisms is that they have to make the change or implement the restriction that you cannot glide during combat. And so far, that hasn't been stated in this post. It doesn't say anything about you not being able to glide while you are in combat. The only way you're not able to glide is if it's not your territory, or if you happen to get hit by one of these ballista fourth skills. If you get hit by that, you won't glide anymore. If you go into another territory, you won't glide anymore. What if you don't get hit by the skill? What if you're still in your territory? What if someone tries to attack you normally? Will you just be able to glide away? So that's one of the big criticisms there, and they did say that they're testing this. If they end up finding out that gliding is not appropriate for World vs. World, if they end up finding out that it's not working, they'll just disable it again. I appreciate the attempt to try and add gliding, but I don't know how well it'll go. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see how people use it. We'll have to see how many restrictions there are. We'll have to see how it works. If it promotes new ways to play World vs. World, if it promotes new ideas to engage in team fights, or new ways to defend your keep, then great. I think that's great. But if it ends up causing more frustration or causing some people to feel like it's unfair, then maybe it isn't that great of an idea. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Would love to hear your feedback in the comments section though. I'd love to see this work out really well, because I would love to see gliding World vs. World. But if it doesn't work out positively for everyone, then it will be kind of unfortunate. So leave your comments down below. Give some feedback. Once again, if you want to give some feedback here as well in this thread, I'll leave the link to that forum post as well. So 3 huge things coming in August 8th for the next balance patch. 3 huge things. 2 of these things are heavily debated upon. I think the only good thing that a lot of people are excited about and happy about are the Ascended Gear to Legendary Gear upgrade if you earned it through World vs. World PvP. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for gliding World vs. World too, but we'll have to see how it goes, like I said. So that's pretty much it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you found it informative. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on the video. If you want to talk about anything, go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and subscribe. Plenty of other Guild Wars 2 videos coming up in the future. Plenty are already on the channel that you can take advantage of and learn more about the game. We have gold guides, we have class guides, we have build guides, we have story recaps. If you didn't play any of the Living World seasons, we have recaps in some of the episodes as well. So I encourage you to look at all that content there if you'd like to do so. If you want to check out my most recent video, click the annotation here. If you want to check out a similar video to this one, click the annotation here. If you want to subscribe to my other channels or this one, click the annotation here. And if you want to donate $1 to my Patreon page, you can click the annotation here. That's pretty much it for today, guys. Thank you for watching as always. And this is GSmaniamsmart, and I'll be back sooner than you think. Don't go anywhere.